Hello everyone, AutoChamp Wandelen over here, and right next to me is one of the rarest car you will ever see. Quick question to ask all of you. What has a V8 engine with two doors? Nope, it's not a cabriolet. Nope, it's not a coupe. Nope, it's not a Porsche or a Jaguar or a Ford Mustang or even a muscle car for that matter. It's a real 4x4, which is a short wheelbase. Make sure you have pushed the subscribe button and check the link in the description for my car reviews of other Land Rover Defender models and of course potential competitors of this Land Rover Defender short wheelbase V8. All right, let's get on with this review right now. Now this particular Land Rover Defender short wheelbase V8 costs 146,000 euros. Now if had it been this was a long wheelbase, I'm sure to have costed around the similar price as an ultra luxury SUV like that of the Bentley Bentayga. But the price of 146,000 euros is very interesting. It reminds me of my experience with the Porsche Cayenne and also the Mercedes G-Wagon, but it depends which trim level, because I know there's certain G-Wagons that have the price of 140,000 euros in that range. And then also we have the Range Rover model itself that has a starting price of around 140,000 euros or maybe less or maybe more. I'm not 100% sure, guys. But what I want to say is that this is just kind of like in the segment between luxury and ultra luxury, because let's face it, it's a rare model. Right over here is the key factor that makes this particular Land Rover Defender unique, the V8 engine, and combined with that short wheel base, it makes it potentially one of the most interesting 4x4s, because short wheel base means lighter weight, which could potentially mean it is fast. Guys, this thing is hot. Now, I think this will give Porsche and BMW sleepless nights, and I'm sure Mercedes is probably biting its teeth worried about this. Jokes aside, it's very interesting how Land Rover has gone about this. In fact, I said something about the Land Rover Defender Octa, which is supposed to be the ultra luxury version, competing against something like the Range Rover, Bentley Bentayga, and the Mercedes G-Wagon. And one thing I had to say is that it makes me think of those fancy boots which you wear whilst gardening, although you're not really going to be abusing them. You're just going to be walking in the garden. Now, I just briefly want to talk a little bit about the V8 engines here in the European market, everyone. Here in the European market, there's been a different perspective, a different approach towards V8 engines, because for a very long time, they have taken the environmental initiatives very, very seriously, which equally meant the taxation of V8 engines were always going to be high, which is why competitors like the Bentley Bentayga offer a V6 version with a hybrid system to it, which is great. And that's why for the Land Rover Defender, you have a various configuration for the engines, and same for the Range Rover itself, where you even get a plug-in hybrid version. This is excellent. But then when it comes to V8 engines, they are one of the rarest cars to be having here in Europe. It's a big contrast to the North American market, everyone. So at this point, my biggest assumption is whoever is going to get this particular Land Rover Defender is likely going to get it for a car collection, or probably going to keep it as a collection, because to have this as a daily driver, it could actually be a rare choice. But if you really want to use this as your daily driver, you can, compared to a sports car, because look at the ground clearance you have. I don't know if it's just me, but there's something about Land Rover Defender models that go perfectly well with those 5-spoke alloys. They look amazing. Now it is time to check out the interior of the Land Rover Defender short wheelbase. I don't know if it's just me, but the door seems slightly longer compared to the 5-door version. It's something interesting I just noticed. This equally means ease of entrance, and it feels like a yacht. So first I want to talk about the leather seats, everyone. The leather seats are very nice with the fabric on the side, which makes it very durable. It's really interesting. Now, would you want to go off-roading with this? You can if you want to, but just because you can, I don't necessarily believe you should, because look at the interior trim. It's just too good. I don't want to mess it up. You get driving palettes, but then I already noticed a big problem. The biggest problem I've noticed with the most Land Rover and Range Rover models of today is that the steering wheel is huge, everybody. This is like the size you would expect in a truck. Oh my gosh. The steering wheel is massive. And then for the rest of the interior, I still see presence of hard plastic, which is nice material when going off-roading. But be honest, would you really want to go off-roading with this thing? I sure know I wouldn't want to. But hey, You get this nice gear stick, which is very similar to what I saw in the previous generation Range Rover. It's very nice, and they put the air vents all the way up there above. Now, I remember when I reviewed the Land Rover Defender Octa, my problem with the air vents would be the fact that they're too above, that I think the leather trim over here gets in the way of the airflow. So it's not like you're really gonna benefit much from the air conditionings, if you know what I'm saying. Otherwise, you get this nice panoramic sunroof, which is good. I like this. It's really nice. And for the rest, when it comes to visibility outside, the visibility outside is good, but then just beware that this A-pillar is very thick, everyone. The A-pillar is very thick, so you have to be aware of your surroundings a bit. Just be careful. Now let's have a driver's point of view of the interior. But before we go further, I just want to talk to you all about the door. Look at this huge exposed metal you get over here. That's, in my opinion, not exactly something desirable, especially for a car of 146,000 euros. You would expect something more interesting than just exposed metal and then plastic everywhere. But then it is true, they tried to keep the off-road theme alive, and I can respect that. You get detailed seating adjustments, although for a price of 146,000 euros, you would expect some more fancy equipment, like more fancy material, like maybe chrome or something. But then on the other side, again, we want to keep the authenticity, right? I get it. You get the seating memory, which is really ideal, with the Meridian sound system. Now, there's something really nice about this practicality solution of Range Rover. This drawer sort of feature that can actually move out of the way for additional storage space underneath. Now, this is my favorite feature. The central console storage is very nice, and it is cooled. You get your wireless telephone recharge over here. 2 cup holders of fixed sizes. That's very nice. But just be careful, because from my personal experience, having cup holders over there get in the way. Like, let's say you go to McDonald's, you put a drink over here, it's not going to let you rest your arms nice, you see? Like, what if I just want to relax my arm? So yeah, but it's not a big deal. It's just something I thought I'd point out. Otherwise, you get this infotainment system over here. In fact, let's take a look at it together. Let me close the door. Here, let's start this up. So, dual zone climate control, and you get suspension adjustment. You get the classic Land Rover, Range Rover traits over here. So detailed off-road controls. It's very nice. I like this. Although I missed the days when they actually had a swivel wheel where you could choose different modes. Now it's all digital, guys. Now this infotainment system is very similar to what you've seen in other Land Rover models, Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguars. And then you get a detailed infotainment system. Well, more like instrument cluster. My apologies, guys. Now, the fact that I have to click 0 over here kind of makes me think of PlayStation a little bit. Oh, wow, this is cute. This is very cute. I mean, look at this. Anyways, it's very nice how they've gone about this. Although when it comes to infotainment and instrument cluster, BMW takes the trophy for a bit more details. BMW takes the trophy for a bit more engagement, I'd say. You see, you even get a little swivel wheel over here in this area to control the infotainment system. And then the Volkswagen Group deserved the trophy for detailed infotainment system, rather, like, you know, when it comes to the navigation and everything. But hey, the Jaguar Land Rover infotainment system gets the job done. It's not the best, but it gets the job done, and it is slightly better than average, let's say, okay? You get detailed off-road controls. It is very functional. You even get a compass. This is good. This is really good. Wow, look at this. Wow. Oh my God, this is so cool. This is so cool, and it even tells you the altitude. Now, this is very sweet information, although I highly doubt I would be needing this. But it's very cute, and you can go wading maximum 0.85 meters, although I highly doubt you want to go wading with this particular Land Rover Defender. You could if you want to. And you also get parking aid, everyone. You get a 360-degree parking camera. So rest assured, when you go shopping in the shopping mall, you won't need to worry. You can move this thing like this, or you can... Oh, right. I just push this button and it goes by itself like this all the way here. That's sweet. And then you have to pull this latch over here, and then you can access the rear seats. So the concept is very similar to what you're used to seeing in two-door vehicles like hatchbacks or coupes or cabriolets. Now, to access the rear seats, it's very pleasant. I already see that it has this like couch-like look to it. And apparently you can sit 3 people. Now we're going to check out the rear storage space of this Land Rover Defender short wheelbase V8. Okay, so Just like other Land Rover Defender models, you get this handle over here, but there's a little button you have to push. Over here is the boot space, and you get durable material, and if you want, you can always fold down the second row seats for additional space, everyone. This is how great it is. In fact, that's kind of the thing I would do, because I have doubts I'd actually be transporting passengers in this thing. And let's face it, if you have a car collection, why would you want to be using this to transport passengers? Unless you want to go to the mall with friends on a weekend, on a sunny day. Just like on other Range Rover and Land Rover models, you get a suspension at the rear that can be adjusted for ease of entrance of luggages and such. And it should be noted that the body paint over here sticks out quite proudly, so just be careful when loading luggages in and out. And that too, with this particular material over here, it adds just a bit more elevation. The Land Rover Defender models, the long wheelbase and short wheelbase, have the body on frame construction, which means you have two chassis beams and the body attached to them. This greatly enhances off-road capabilities and towing capabilities. So when it comes to the Land Rover Defender model, compared to many of the luxury SUVs out there, the Land Rover Defender would have a significant advantage over there. It would have the performance on its side. So here's my conclusion of the Land Rover Defender short wheelbase V8. For a price of 146,000 euros, this would be one of the rarest cars you will ever see on the road. Now, it's true, on the surface, you will just roll your eyes thinking, this is yet again another Defender on the road. What's so special about that? I can fully agree with you right there. It is true that on the surface it looks like a Defender, and it's become a bit of a common sight because every day I see at least one Defender, but let's face it, it's not driven really by someone who goes off-roading. It's driven by someone who's just dropped his kids off to soccer practice or school, and then off he goes back to work. And by the way, his work doesn't really involve off-roading. His work involves lots of, paperwork, office work. And over here, you have the spirit of a muscle car, but the figure of a 4x4. Now, it's got the off-road capabilities, make no mistake about this, thanks to the body on frame, body construction method. This is great. But then at the same time, on the other side of the scale, the materials, the price, would you really want to go off-roading with this thing? A question only you can answer. Would you all like my personal opinion of this Land Rover Defender short wheelbase V8? I have to say, this has to be one of the coolest 4x4s you will see, particularly because of the V8 engine, particularly because of the two doors. But if I had the choice, I would change the wheels and the body paint, because having it all in black, especially the letters, that is a bit too much. You want to add a bit of life to your Land Rover Defender, because let's face it, this is quite a rare vehicle, so you might as well choose a rare paintwork to it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run, and check the link in the description for my car reviews on YouTube of other Land Rover models and the potential competitors to this beast right over here. I will see you all next time.